Hello everyone, welcome back to War Always Changes. We have a shorter video for you today and a bit of a sneak peek as to what the developers are going to be creating in the future of this game. Now, this is actually some pretty exciting stuff, and I'm just super excited for it. What Yak covers in this most recent developer diary is the Amphibious Fighting Vehicle, the Heli Carrier, air assault units, and also ship carry capacity. Pretty exciting stuff, and it really is going to improve the game as a whole by improving some certain units while also increasing the variety of the game, which is absolutely huge. This article also covers a couple other minor things. I guess it's not really minor, it's just not quite as flashy. They will be basically improving the desktop version to look better, kind of more like the mobile version, which I do agree, it does look better. So I think that'll just improve things overall, and I'm pretty excited to see it. Here's the article. I'm going to read it here, and then we'll go over some stuff after, like what these units, what their stats could potentially look like. And keep in mind, all this is, subject to change, might not even be in the game. So, yeah, I don't know. Pretty exciting stuff. Here we go. Developer Diary 22. High tides, measured rides. Commanders, it's your local friendly community lead here, Yak. When I'm nowhere to be found on our platforms, it's safe to say we are all giving headaches to the developers and producers. They are happy to oblige. Why, might you ask? The designers are cooking up quite some spicy dishes, with an entree of assorted and exquisite taste breakers. I'm excited to disclose what's on the menu for the coming months from the ragtag bunch over here at Dorado. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Amphibious Fighting Vehicle. After looking at the stats behind Amphibious Fighting Vehicle, the general consensus was that they are relatively underused, but not exceptionally so. We suspect that the research tree path might be an influence here, and for the first iteration, we are updating the Amphibious Fighting Vehicle to be separate from the Armored Fighting Vehicle research path, along with all the respective upgrades irrespective of each other. This is coming very soon. Air assault can use carriers. In real-world scenarios, carriers are used to launch air assault operations regularly, a function absent from the current implementation of Khan. Adding this change is an interesting proposition given that air assault can definitely benefit from it along with naval skirmishes. Thus, changes to air assault units are coming. We will soon allow air assault-able units to use carriers as launch points, extending the range they can use to air assault. We anticipate this to be available before the release of Season 9. Helicopter Carrier. The aircraft carrier is pretty expensive and serves a pretty important role. We want to emphasize that. As a naval player, this is your capital ship. However, there's some important aspects of the aircraft carrier which the Heli Carrier should be able to handle in the early game, or at least serve as a way for naval players to put pressure on their foes beyond their coastal cities. Moreover, this helps make helicopters a more attractive option. With the current implementation of carriers, it is a more attractive choice to focus on aircraft rather than helicopters, at least in some instances. In light of this, we are working on a new unit that will act as a cheaper costing variant of the aircraft carrier. The helicopter carrier is able to carry helicopters and act as an HQ, base of operation, for helicopters, like any other airport would. This unit will not be a seasonal unit. This update is also expected sometime after Season 9. Ship carry capacity. Carry capacity is something that we haven't really touched in Khan previously. Transport ships fill that role, but units like the Heli Carrier and Aircraft Carrier regularly carry complements of troops to engage in ground operations. This is the most experimental feature / idea until now. And as it stands, we are exploring options and brainstorming ideas on expanding gameplay in this domain. We don't have a lot of specifics here as the feature is in its infancy production-wise. The general idea is to give ships the ability to utilize carry capacity for units. This will allow them to transport units faster than if they were transport ships. Eventually, it will allow units like the airborne infantry to ferry to the aircraft carrier. This will require a fair bit of development, definitely will be after Season 9. Wow, so that was quite the info dump. It's pretty cool that they're changing the amphibious combat vehicle because I actually really do like that. So if they're going to be making it more kind of a specialized thing and then separate it from the armored fighting vehicle, well, hopefully it's for the best. Hopefully it doesn't hurt it in any way. I don't think it will. Maybe they'll buff it a little bit, but I feel it's pretty balanced right now. It's just most people don't have a need for it to be amphibious. Most people don't use Marines, so yeah, I don't know. But of course, the real spicy news, honestly, it's two things. First off, making airborne units actually useful with having them being able to assault from aircraft carriers. This is just absolutely ridiculous. It is something I absolutely am going to have to try as soon as it comes out. Of course, I'll be putting out a video on it. It's going to be super exciting, and I'm just so happy that they're doing that. It's been a long time coming, but better late than never. Super excited for that. But it doesn't stop there. Of course, there's going to be that new unit coming out, the helicopter carrier, which is just so exciting. I already thought the helicopters were, good as is, but the fact that we're going to be able to have an early game unit to transport them around is going to be just super exciting. If it is going to be early game, it's going to have to be cheaper than an aircraft carrier, cheaper than a cruiser, and I'm guessing it would probably be around the price of a destroyer, because destroyers, I would consider them early game. Obviously, they're not going to be cheap as corvettes, but you can get destroyers early game. If you really rush, you can get cruisers early game as well, but you're only going to be able to make like one until you upgrade your arms industries. So let's say, early game, you're making helicopters and you make a heli carrier so that you can do some early attacks on other people's coastal cities. What are its stats going to look like? Well, I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit more expensive than a destroyer, maybe with a slight science cost, kind of like how the aircraft carrier takes a lot of science. So here are some stats I kind of threw together. Maybe they'll be somewhere around this. Maybe I'm completely wrong and they really want it to be early game and it'll be quite a bit cheaper than this. Or maybe it's going to be around the price of a cruiser, which is honestly pretty expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think about these stats I kind of threw together. I guess we'll see in a few weeks or a month or two to see how close these are. So that'll be pretty exciting. Overall, super excited for this update. Definitely, well, I guess it's going to be a few different features spread across a couple updates, but I'm just super excited for the new units. It's going to be so awesome to be able to use airborne infantry to just capture cities from sea. It means that you're not going to have to solely rely on a vulnerable infantry unit on a boat to embark and capture a city. This is going to open up so many opportunities, and really, people might have to up their defense on their coastal cities, because previously you would be able to have a boat set on the path going to your city so that if someone did send a boat, they would just instantly get killed, and they would have to have enough navy power to take out those boats. I'm looking forward to this, and hopefully you enjoyed my input. Hopefully the speculative stats end up being close to what the actual unit is. It'd be cool, I guess. That's all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.